letting go. Generally speaking, anytime I'm disturbed, it's because I'm holding on to something that I need to let go of. The usual culprits include resentment, expectations, anger, frustration, judgment, need to control, and fear in its many forms. Just having an awareness that I'm holding on to one of these things has an immediate effect. If I'm holding on to it, then it is not me. Knowing I'm separate from a negative feeling or thought means it's an option to let it go. However, it's often hard to put these down. This may seem strange. Why would I choose to hold on to a negative feeling? I'll give one personal example. Once, when looking into a feeling of resentment over something someone said to me, I realized that I didn't want to let go of my resentment because if I did, the other person would get away with it, as if my resentment was their punishment. In other words, my distorted thinking made me hold on to something that was causing me to suffer. And in that state, it's hard to see the flip side, that in order to pick up any of these negative thoughts or emotions, I must first put down my serenity. In order to pick up anger, I must put down acceptance. To pick up fear, I must first put down courage. On the other hand, when I pick up forgiveness, I must first put down resentment. Do you see how this works? Whatever we let go or put down, we simultaneously pick up and hold on to its opposite. This is because you can't hold a positive and a negative at the same time. They're not compatible, which is why, in order to pick up a negative, you must first put down a positive. However, if you're holding a negative, you can pick up many more negatives. There's no problem there. They're all compatible. For example, if I'm holding on to anger, it's very easy to pick up resentment, judgment, and fear. Stack one on top of the other. And what happens when this emotional load gets heavier? I hold on tighter. By the same token, when I'm holding a positive, it's easy to pick up other positive. So if I'm holding on to acceptance, I can easily pick up forgiveness, patience, gratitude, etc. So be very mindful of what you're picking up and what you're putting down. For anyone in the 12-step program, there is an AA speaker, Sandy B., who gives an amazing talk on the topic of letting go. Sandy B. is among the best of the best when it comes to program speakers. There is a recording of him at a conference speaking on the topic of letting go. He starts off by saying that if he had to reduce all of program into just 2 words, it would be let go. He then goes on for an hour to beautifully explain. It's worth listening to. I put the link in the description. Now, there is another option other than holding on or letting go. It's somewhere right in the middle. The third option is to let it be. This is actually very advanced. You see, when you let something be, there is no need to hold on or to let go. It just is. This can be practiced 2 ways. With others, and by others I mean not just people, but also places and things. Anything external that can trigger me, let it be. And if I do have a reaction, then I can practice inward. In other words, let my feeling or emotion come and go on its own accord, without holding on, without feeding into it, and also without resisting it. Simply let it be. Like a cloud in the sky, it will pass. I think of the words letting be as a signpost that points in the same general direction as acceptance. They pretty much mean the same thing. I believe that acceptance is a God-given power and a component of love. If I can accept someone as they are, it's an act of love. If I can accept myself as I am, it's an act of self-love. A well-known quote from the Big Book of AA says, "Acceptance is the solution to all of my problems today." So, if there is resistance to accepting, then try a different path to the same destination. Practice letting it be. Spiritual teacher and writer Jack Kornfield, also among the best of the best, in his book, The Art of Forgiveness, Loving Kindness, and Peace, talks about letting be with compassion. Imagine that. What a way to practice letting be. Of course, compassion means to not only empathize with another's suffering, but also to have the desire to reduce it. Therefore, Jack Kornfield is suggesting we practice letting be with a desire to reducing suffering, our own as well as others. By the way, letting be can be practiced with positive feelings as well. It's human nature to cling to happiness and pleasure in order to make them last. However, clinging to happiness can turn it into its opposite, unhappiness. Clinging to pleasure can turn it into suffering. Buddhism talks about the impermanence of all things. This includes people, places, things, situations, also feelings and emotions. So practice going with the flow. How do you do this? You don't. It does you. You work your program, and then your program works you. Step 12 of the 12-step program promises a spiritual awakening. People are often uncertain if they've had one because the step doesn't define what it is. Also, there's no parade with trumpets and banners announcing you've had one. You don't even get a telegram or a text message. Instead, it happens quietly, unannounced. One day, you simply find yourself letting go or letting something be, and you know you've arrived. Thanks for listening, and keep coming back.